The video you're about to see, no, I'm not all that coherent. I'm ADD, I go off point. The main thing is I'm not looking at the camera because I'm thinking about stuff, and I do apologize. And, well, I don't look at the camera anyways. I'm always like, oh. It is a serious video. Please listen. I'm sorry if I don't sound proper, because the sound of my computer is louder than my talking. We'll fix that one day. But do please be serious. Keep this. It is a serious note, and just don't worry about the transitions. Yeah, I can only record so much till my camera cuts off. So I want to talk on something, and I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I keep hearing about the Mandaton, and it's because people want to express their opinions, and it's just wonderful, and I think it's great. The whole thing makes me think of my own life and how it's gone, and so I want to kind of share my own story. It's not everything, but it is kind of a negative part of my life. One negative part, I should say, but we're not going to get into that rest. As a kid, I grew up in Southwest Virginia till 6 years old. During that time, my mom struggled with her family and had a hard time. I mean, my mom didn't want to leave Southwest Virginia unless she had to, maybe go to Tennessee, and that was the furthest of her plans. Because to her, that's home. That's where she grew up. She's this small town girl, and it's all she's known. And so we grew up there till I was 6. This situation with social services and my aunt and my family was not very much for my mom being a single mom. And so we went to our dad's for a short time. The plan, and I did not know this till I was probably in high school, the plan was we were to stay there from 1989 to 1991 or 92. Let's just say it didn't work out, and my dad ended up keeping us. But thinking about all this stuff, here's the thing for me. In that small town, I was in a place where everybody knew me. I was no different than anyone else. We all grew up together. We were all friends. Everybody knew me. Never felt alone, you know. And everybody knew me because they knew my mom. If you know my mom knew everybody. So it wasn't really that hard to make friends with that many people knowing you and your family, and the fact that my family had been there for over 100 years. Let's be honest, I think there's a lot of inbreeding in that county. Ooh, we're not getting into that either. But I was in this safe, small, enclosed environment, and it was good for me, minus the mishaps between my mom and her screwy ass family. Dear God, they need help. But in regards to like friends and people, I was good. I was good when it came to friends. I had people to go to, places I could be. Then my mom had to give us up to my dad because there was a lot of crap going on, and it was unbelievable. It even got to the legal level. They took it to the legal level because they didn't believe that a single mom should be a single mom. That's wrong. You're supposed to have 2 parents. Da 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 da. Well, when we went to live with our dad, I went into this city, Greenville, South Carolina. To me, it was large. It was unbelievable. Really, it's a small city. But it was different. I'd never been to some place like this. And so we were in the city and living. It was a new place. I expected to make friends. I grew up with friends. I made friends in this small town and this small area. Nowadays I call it a small abandoned area, but it didn't happen like that. I developed psoriasis, which I still have today. It's a genetic disease. I've developed it, and then I went to school. At first, it didn't show. And so I was able to make friends. Now, kids don't always make friends based on personality or a lot of reasons we do as adults. They just make friends to have friends. And they make friends with people to be popular. And trust me, it is a popularity contest through most of your life. So, I started out with friends, and then my psoriasis started to show more. Well, because of that, and because people didn't know what it was, if I grew up in Southwest Virginia, they'd all have known. Here in Tennessee, Northeast Tennessee, people were like, oh yeah! But they didn't. And it scares people in South Carolina when they see psoriasis. It still does. Which, as an adult, I'm cool with. It's hilarious to me. But, kids stopped being my friends immediately when it started to show. And I had no one. I was by myself. I was halfway through first grade. Well, it was my second time through first grade, but that South Carolina didn't believe that I belonged in second grade, so they put me in first grade, and it's because they lost my records. They did that a lot, but all these kids abandoned me. They didn't want to be my friend, and it felt so lonely. And it got worse over the years. I remember in second grade, the thing that I cherished more than anything was this guy named Brandon Nix. He had a brother named Barry. And he actually played with me, and he wanted to hang out with me. He was cool with it. Sadly, eventually Brandon moved. And so when I got into third grade, I had no friends whatsoever. And things were getting worse for me at home. My dad wasn't a nice guy, and never has been nice. That's the reason I don't associate with him now. He pretty much beat the living shit out of us. So I was being abused at home. Dust falls on a table, I get hit for it. He doesn't like something, I get hit for it. I say something that's my opinion, I get hit for it. So I would come to school, talk to the counselor, which really never helped, but I created kind of a bubble that I was still safe with the counselor, not telling her stuff, but just having somewhere to go that wasn't the classroom. And it's pretty bad. That my bubble was just making sure I wasn't at school. And by third grade, I was actually buying kids to be my friend for a day. Give them $5 and they'd be my friend for like a day. And not even act like being my friend. They just said they were my friend for a day. And I was cool with that. I was like, I have a friend for a day. And then I eventually started figuring out where I hid my $5 and just started straight stealing it. And moving forward, I really didn't have friends until maybe high school. I didn't have friends from most of elementary school and middle school. Middle school was mostly moving around anyways. I mean, I had one nice middle school. One. And, we only got to stay for a year. It was not, I think Wren Middle School in South Carolina is probably the best example of a school. They teach kids not to pick on each other, not to do a lot of things to each other. Kids were nice to me. Didn't matter about my skin. They were actually nice to me. A lot of kids were in volunteer programs. I mean, it was interesting what these kids were like. I still can't call a lot of the kids that I met friends because we never really got to know each other. And it's only because I stayed for such a short time. We only stayed for a year. And then my dad moved. And he was always moving. So, I went through school being taunted. And always being picked on. And I don't mean, call me names. I've been shoved in a locker by 20 some odd kids waiting to go to music class or whatever, economics or whatever class at League Middle School. I was shoved into a damn locker and locked in there. The teacher had a hell of a time getting me out. There wasn't even a lock on there. So many kids banging on the door that I could not get, that the door was stuck. I remember League was the worst. I have to say, League Middle was the worst. I remember a kid putting a kill me sign on my back. I remember all kinds of stuff being done. I mean, teachers could do what they wanted. I remember my 4th grade teacher would keep me separate from the class. She talked to me after school. She did everything she could. Ms. Owens was amazing. My 2nd grade teacher was amazing. My 2nd grade teacher, God, I could never forget her. She figured out what was going on at home. And she did everything in her power to help me. She realized that none of the kids liked me. They didn't want to do anything with me. It was not because of my fault. It's just because I had psoriasis. That's it. She's probably the one that probably saved my sanity, to be honest. Because, what was her name? Ms. McClendon Finley. I mean, my teachers tried. They did their best, especially in elementary school. My middle school teachers, not so helpful, and could have just not cared less, to be honest with you. So, and then I got into high school, and I met Chris. Chris is like me. He has psoriasis. At first, here's what happened. Okay, so in middle school, I moved to Blue Ridge High. And we didn't know how long we were going to be there, because at that time my dad was chasing my stepmom around, because she was mad at him for abusing his kids, and she couldn't take it. She stayed around because she wanted to stop the abuse, but there's only so much she could take. And I don't know much about what went on between them, because I was just a kid. I didn't know any better. Usually my dad's girlfriends left them saying, oh, I feel sorry for your kids, and they have to withstand you. Okay. But she tried. She could not stand it. She did not want to stand it. She did everything she could, but every so often she had to leave. And I remember in high school, learning that Pebbles had to take happy pills, and I wasn't supposed to ask her about it or anything. Her daughter showed me. But, a lot of people up through elementary school knew what was going on. Middle school started, we shut up. Me and my siblings decided to shut up. We didn't want to talk about our life at home, so we were getting beat the bloody hell out at home until my stepmom came around. And it was hard. And here's the thing, and this is what I should really get to. With having no friends till high school, no real friends, no one that would stand up for me or be there for me, because what happens is, they'll say they're your friend, but then when bad shit comes, they're gone. So, what happened to me is, I think it was 3rd or 4th grade, I really think it was 4th grade, I became suicidal. Highly suicidal. And I mean, most people are like, oh, well, you were just an emotional child. No. I became suicidal. But my problem came up, and it was because we visited our mom so often. I couldn't kill myself. And I didn't have the balls to. 2, I loved my mom too much. I remember being a little kid, I wanted to be just like my mom, until my mom told me one day, don't be like me. I didn't know it was her personal regrets at the time, so I tried to not be like her. It's like a mental note for like a long time in my life I remember having. But I remember being in the 4th grade, so suicidal. I mean, since I couldn't kill myself, I wanted to kill everybody else. That's why I tell people, when the Columbine thing happened, that I related to the killers of Columbine. Because I couldn't kill the people I couldn't kill myself. So I wanted to kill all of my problems, so that I had peace, and I'd be left alone, and I could be happy. And the things that happen in your mind are unbelievable when you're that damn depressed. I remember just trying to think of different ways to maybe kill myself, or how death would be peace. I remember how thinking that killing everyone else would be peaceful and it would be better for me. And I wanted to, because what was the point of living or having people around no one liked you, if no one loved you? And that's how I felt. I mean, I felt like the only person that cared was my mom, but I wasn't allowed to be around my mom that much. I got to see her 4 days a month. So, because she lived in Virginia and we were in South Carolina. Actually, she eventually moved to Tennessee, so by that time she was in Tennessee. But, I had no peace, nowhere to go, and I remember playing with a butcher knife one day and just thinking about what I could do with it. And never did. Completely. I did one thing one day, and God, I hate it too. I tried to kill my sister. I was just so mad and so angry at her. I grabbed a knife, and I remember chasing her. And I remember chasing her out of our room through the living room to my brother's room. My brother's had a bunk bed. The bottom bed was Jay's. I remember crawling into the corner of the bunk bed and me climbing onto the bed with a knife, but I couldn't do it. Couldn't, because of my mom. My mom had told me, I don't remember when, but I asked her about death and things like that. I don't know if she ever got any indication when I was that little. And, a lot of people excuse it off as a little kid being curious. But I asked her about death, and she said a life to God is worth more than a piece of gold. I didn't understand that, but I knew gold was important. I didn't understand the worth of gold, but I knew it was important. So I couldn't do it. And I remember Jay taking a knife out of my hand. And I don't know what Jay was thinking. I guess he thought maybe we were playing. I don't know, but all I wanted to do at that moment was kill my sister. And I don't know how I got out of it, to be honest with you. I couldn't do it to myself. Couldn't hurt others. And I guess it's a good thing. I mean, I thought hurting others would get me out of it. I thought hurting myself would get me out of it, but I couldn't. And I had no ability, and I've never had the ability to hurt people or hurt myself. Though, if you think about it, sometimes we do hurt ourselves without thinking about it. But just thinking about it, it's just like, damn, Yeah, thinking about it, and then seeing this Amanda Todd thing. It's like, I've been there. I've been there to the point, and I spent middle school and high school just trying to figure out how to get out, being so lonely, being just so depressed that I didn't know what to do. I mean, middle school, oh God. Elementary school was hell. Middle school's worse. Kids get older, they get crueler, they just become worse. So, God, I hated it like you would not believe. And, they find ways to torture and hurt you. And that's why I know this girl, it was so easy for her to do it, because they're already doing it. She's in those years where it's easier to hurt you. I remember becoming more closed up as I got older, because there was nothing I could do. These kids got worse and worse. What was I to do? Eventually, I ignored it. It hurt every time they did something, but I acted like I ignored it. There was no point in showing emotion if it was just going to fuel the fire. And I posted on Facebook this message saying, I will smack your kids. I will smack every damn kid that seems to think cyberbullying or just bullying in general is wonderful. Because it is bullshit. The things you do just to have friends and to make friends. I would have been happy if I was homeschooled. Because I wouldn't have had to deal with any. And that's all I ever wanted, to be honest. I wanted to be homeschooled so I didn't have to talk to kids or deal with them. I was happy in my own little world. In high school, that's what I did. We moved out into the countryside of Travelers Rest, South Carolina, and we had like this acre of land. I would hide out there and I would stay there. That was my peace. That was my serenity. That's where I stayed when I could. I may have had friends, but that was my only true peace. I loved my friends. They were people that took care of me. They loved me for who I was. They were wonderful people. I remember Chris did not like the discrimination, because if you're discriminating against me, you're discriminating against him, because he has psoriasis too. It's not as obvious as mine. Mine usually covered maybe 50%, 25 to 50% of my body. It was always obvious. And so he didn't like it. I remember him, was my sophomore year. He was like, "Who did it? Who did it?" I'm like, "No one." He's like, "Who did it?" And it was just, he heard about them throwing me getting out of class early because they threw, what was it? Spitballs. Yeah, that's what it is, spitballs. They threw spitballs at me and Kristen, because Kristen was my friend. And she was also the quiet girl. So he wanted to know who did it. Actually, no, it wasn't sophomore. That was my freshman year. And he was always protective. It was very good of him. I just didn't tell him, because there's no point in it. I mean, why start a fight? But yeah, my friends were always there for me in high school when they could be. I mean, life wasn't even as bad at home. My dad stopped hitting us, stopped giving reasons to hit us, because my stepmom had kind of changed him. Not completely, but mostly. He stopped hitting us. He started talking to us. He stopped doing a lot of things that were bad. Don't make this think that he became a good parent. He wasn't involved in our lives. When my brother can go to the school and hand in a paper signed, and they accept it, and it's signed in my brother's handwriting with my dad's name, that's pretty much not involved if they cannot tell it's forgery. And he didn't copy how my dad signed. We could put chicken scratch on there, and they would have accepted it, because it was all they've seen. Brother Jeremy signed a lot of things. But I was a good kid, so I didn't always get him to sign stuff. But yeah. People will think this whole bleach thing, this mental thing, is funny, and we should get over it, because it's not as bad as it seems. It's bad. It's pretty damn bad. If I wanted to kill people, if I wanted to commit suicide, and if I know and I've gone through that, it's bad. And I know it's bad. And I know it's bad for the kids. I know it's bad for all kids. I tried my best to make Divine understand. And Divine may not be my kid, but if he's a kid I care about, any kid I care about, I try to get them to understand that this is bad and you should never do it. And if you can, stand up for somebody, because that kid could be an amazing person, and their life either end, or they end other people's lives, or become a bad person because of how we've treated them. The way I am now, and who I've become, to be honest, is because people intervened in my life. I had Pebbles intervene with my dad. I had Chris, and I had other friends who were there. Kristen, she was shy, but she went through things with me. And she's willing to, because she was my friend, I guess. I don't know, Kristen. Who understands Kristen but Kristen? And she was a great and wonderful girl. And I loved her to death. I mean, a lot of my friends, they didn't go through things with me, but they were there and they continued to be my friends. And that was what was important. Even some of my acquaintances, they were there. They were around. And they helped make life better because they wanted to be around me. So many years of nothing, and these people want to be around me. It was amazing. Really, and eventually I forgot how bad shit used to be. You know, growing up as an adult, I've had some bad times. You know, I've had some, dear God, bad friends. There are times where, like, I was like, God, I'm an idiot. But because of the people I met in high school, because of people, it didn't matter that it was just high school. Think about it. If you want to make someone's life better, start now. Start immediately. I don't care if you're a parent and your kid's in elementary school and they know of a kid having a hard time. Tell your kid to help. Show your kid that it's not about who's better. It's not about how they look. It's not about a lot of things. Teach them better, because they need to know how to accept others. So we stop having people kill themselves. So we stop having people kill others. People don't realize kids kill other kids for a reason, and it's usually an emotional pain. Anyways, it's just, oh God. It's just, that's why this shit happens. I am so fucking tired. Really fucking tired of kids being so cruel, and I don't care that I'm turning 30. Fuck that. Fuck all of that. I'm getting older and watching this shit, and I'm tired of it. I will beat some kids in the head. I don't care if it's with my hand, and I don't care if I get arrested for it. You're being an idiot, and I don't like it. This is why I can't be a teacher. Never. I'll never be a teacher. I'd be like, you do not do that to a kid. You're going to the principal, and you can get the hell out of this school. You can get the hell out of my classroom. That's what I would do. No, never. I'm going to calm down. Eventually calm down. I cannot take a calm view on this whatsoever. Pisses me the hell off. Really does. And, I mean, in my life I've questioned, and when I was younger I thought it would be a good idea. What if I grew up in Southwest Virginia? That wouldn't have been better, trust me. My cousins grew up in Southwest Virginia. They are screwy as hell. People may have loved them, but dear God, they're screwy as hell. Watch Bogey 2988, I think it is. Find his Jesse character. That is my cousin Kelly. Dear God, that is my cousin Kelly. I wonder how I need to take video of that man without him getting pissed, because he has a temper from hell. And my cousin is a spoiled bitch, and who thinks she's ghetto. This is a girl that never knew what ghetto was, and when you're in a small town in the middle of the mountains, you've never met a ghetto. I grew up near ghettos, okay? They're not great. Gun shooting, death, all that, not great, okay? And it's hard to explain it. Her kid, Divine, when I have Divine around, if Divine does anything with Thug Life celebrating it, I get on his ass. And I don't mean like, okay, I do hit him in the head. I like bop him right in the head, because you can't be celebrating that. I mean, cool, it was popular in the 90s because what happened, from my understanding of history, a lot of areas were not being taken care of, which is why riots and why the LA riots and a lot of other things happened. They're neglected, and I'm guessing, to be honest, is because of, I forgot what it was called, but pretty much it's just a recession, like, yeah, duh. It was a recession like we're having now. We go up, we go down, we go up, we go down. It was a pretty bad recession. Cities weren't being taken care of, people weren't being taken care of. And people reacted very badly, but they had the right to at the same time. So, Divine doesn't know what his mom's teaching him, and I really, really don't like watching it. And yeah, everything looks different because my camera shut off and then said, you'll have no battery, so. But, in short, here's the thing. If I see your kid acting stupid, I will smack them in the head. You arrest me, cool. I'm happy with it. I cannot stand watching that. You want your kid to be a bully, that is your choice. Some parents say, well, we can't always stop everything. You can't always stop everything, but you can teach them. You can be involved in their life. You can do the best you can to raise a great kid. But you ignore them, you not take notice to what they're doing in their lives, then shit's gonna happen. And if you've got a kid that's being bullied, you really should do something. I don't care if it's take them out of school. That's what my stepmom did. Alicia, for the first time in her life in high school, started being bullied because of some dude she dated. And she couldn't take it. And from what I hear, the girls were total bitches. My mindset, to be honest, because I think I was like 18, 19 at the time, was, now you know how I feel. But the truth is, Pebbles made a good move. She removed Alicia from the school system and brought her to Sullivan so that my stepsister could finish her education and just get it over with. Because it wasn't worth it, and it's never worth it. It's never worth it. If it follows you around like it did that girl Amanda Todd, then you know what? Shit's gotta get done. And one thing about this Amanda Todd thing, that now that I'm finished talking about my shit, and I'm sorry, it makes me a selfish bitch, but that's how my mind works. But one thing about it is whoever was stalking her can be put up with a murder charge. The fact that they were soliciting pictures of her and her boobs, that's being a pedophile. That's also soliciting pictures of a minor. You're not selling it, but you're sure as hell showing it to everybody. You might be threatening her, making her be all fearful. That's lovely. But it's also a crime, okay? It's a crime because she's under 18, so you're showing pictures of a minor to the other public. You might be a minor. Doesn't matter. You're showing sexual pictures of a minor. That can cause you to go to prison. Okay? I want to see if they find this person, because if they're an adult, they're a pedophile. If they're a kid, well, their ass is still in trouble. So there's a lot of things in this situation that are utterly illegal. I don't think the girl should have died, and I think the idiots making all these pictures for attention because they're dumbass trolls. Oh, they're idiots. Trolls like attention. They are people that sit at home and have no lives and love attention. Well, these people do. Can't say too much bad about trolls, because PJ's a troll. Yes, I know a troll. He's a nice guy in real life, but for some reason, trolling on Second Life entertains him, which, okay, I'll be honest, sometimes you do troll. I used to troll Second Life, because there are people on there, and you're like, really? That's your fantasy? That thing that you are right now is your fantasy? I mean, my character looks better than me, but someone designed her too. It was free, but yeah, that's just my thing. It's just, when it comes to the actual girl, there is just so much going on here, and I think after a while she probably did shut up a little. I mean, she tried her best, but she didn't think it was going to end. And she tried to be strong. She reminds me of that one kid that committed suicide. I think it was earlier this year. He tried to be strong, and he wanted other gay kids to be strong like him, and then he eventually broke. That's what happens. You eventually break. Until you can get out of it, and out of your depression, that's what happens, is you break. And when you break, the decision is up to you whether you're going to move on and not hurt yourself, or you're going to die. And that's the truth. That's how you feel. And the sad thing about the bullies, they don't give a shit. It's entertainment to them. They never care. Sometimes I want to smack those people, but I can't. Yes, smacking is my answer. Other days it's beating people with a stick. But the world's full of idiots. It's full of bullies. I think people like her, what they really need is a place to go. They need to find some source of security. And that's the hardest thing to find. Sometimes you're left alone for years with nothing. I think I'm glad that I found Chris. I'm glad that Jess, who is now my sister-in-law, became my friend. So, I guess I'm good there. But I feel bad every time someone commits suicide over a situation like this because it wasn't necessary. And now someone's died that could have been awesome. I'm not awesome. But I found out I can love life. And I really, really want to be able to help in that area with people. There's no way. Because it's going to happen. We can't stop everyone. They don't find help. They don't find a way, and they die. And in the end, the truth is we've got to be better. Me and you, we got to be better. This bullshit of stop bullying, it's only bullshit because people won't stop. And until we make the choice to be better. And I know kids out there think this shit's funny, and I don't know. And I don't go into circles right now. There's no answer in my mind. There never will be. I wish we could change. I wish we could stop this bullshit. That's what I wish. But I do offer this, and I will always offer this to anyone who is in need of help. Find safety. Find a place to go and live. Continue to live. I'm 30. I could have died at like 9-10 years old. But now I'm getting ready to turn 30. And I love my life. It's not great. It's not amazing. Hell, I'm worried about rent in January. I don't know if I'm going to finish my degree. But you know what? I have the most amazing friends in the world. Wouldn't give them up for anything. And there are some friends I have where it's like, God, why do you like me? You're such a great person. I mean, sometimes it's gonna take until you turn 18. Sometimes it might take longer. Sometimes you can just shove yourself in a hole and say, fuck the world. That's usually a better option. I have my days where I'm like that. I'm just like, fuck the world. I live easily by myself. I live easily without anyone because of my past. I don't think it's good, and that's actually pretty damn lonely. But I just say, make it through. Do what you can to make it through. If it gets too hard, talk. Continue to talk. I don't care how much shit it gets you in trouble. I don't care how much the fuck they beat you. Talk. And there's another option if you don't want to talk. And it seems retarded, but bullies are trolls. Both are attention whores, and they do what entertains them. When they can't get anything else out of you, when they can't get reaction, when they can't get anything, they stop. What's the point if you can't get hurt? What's the point if you don't have a reaction to make it worth it anymore? So, think of them as trolls, because that's what they are. They're trolls. They're trolls. That's all they are. And that's all they'll ever be. And you feed the fire by reacting. In regards to social situations, I can't help you. Only real people show up in time, and you can't predict it. Until then, all you're going to have is harassment. I've been the underdog of my grade. Been the one where it was fun to poke at me. Always fun. Dear God, it was unbelievable that you could have a whole grade hate you. And it happened for the longest time. It happened until I went to 9th grade. And it was great to pick on me. I was the easiest target. And I only stopped because I realized I had worth. It didn't matter. I mean, they tried in the 10th grade, I just kind of laughed at it. And nowadays, I just make jokes. You know, people are like, well, you're fat. I go, yeah, I'm a fat bitch, and I can roll, too. You put me on a hill, I roll fast. You know, I make jokes about myself all the time. My faults, the good things about me, the bad things about me. The bad things for me are the best jokes. But you have to find a way. Something. I don't care if it's the internet. I invite you to my mud. We will love on you. And maybe fart jokes and bad sexual comments. Please, if you're a minor, don't repeat our bad sexual comments. But that's all I have to say. Thank you.